Oh hey, it's Kevin from Just Turtles, and we are here in the mangrove swamps of Southwest Florida. And I have such a really cool video for you guys today. We're with a team of field researchers that are here to release some previously trapped diamondback terrapins and trap some new ones for some just field studies, as well as there were some really amazing Good Samaritans that found other turtles that gave them to this team. And while they don't belong in the mangrove swamps, they brought them here today for us to check out so we can show you about these really awesome species. Now you're gonna see me getting in the water, setting traps, getting really gross and muddy, stuff that I'm not accustomed to up in Connecticut. And I have never been more excited in my life, and I can't wait to show you it as well. Right here? Yeah, that's right. I feel like I'm in The Princess Bride right now. Rodents of unusual size around?
That or the labyrinth, bog of eternal stench. Smell bad.
It's okay, Ludo. You're totally Ludo.
That's all right, as long as you realize that you're Sir Didymus.
Completely fine, man. I got ambrosia at home with Rocket.
We're old.
No, I just love that movie too much. Oh no, I've seen that one.
Oh, that trap's fine.
It's one of my dad's favorite. Oh, you're right here?
Yeah, it's like it.
Wow, big trap.
Hey, man.
Hey,
This is great.
come here often?
First time.
First time. I'm so proud of you, Kev.
Dude, this is like the highlight. Got a lot of respect for the guys out here doing this on the daily. This is treacherous from people in Connecticut.
This is the day Kevin became a real man. We're all very proud of him.
Crocodiles and sharks.
Crocodiles, sharks, dugongs. There's a lot of dugongs over here. Kev, tell me about the pneumatophores.
Pneumatophores?
Yeah,
I don't know that word, man.
you're looking at them.
Just gotta check these out. Woo. Really doing it. I'm in the trap.
Kevin has been trapped.
Made for terrapins, trick the humans.
Thank God Nadine is in there with you for safety.
She's the best.
She's gonna save your life, I feel like, before this is over.
You didn't even ask me if I could swim. This is ridiculous.
I don't care if you can
I
swim.
don't have my safety in mind at all.
You are having the time of, you are giddy right now. You're almost shaking. You're so excited. You got a little bit wet, I think.
A little bit wet.
Okay, so you're all set now.
Yep.
So we're gonna get the heck out of Dodge and come back and check these later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys later.
Good work. You've probably noticed already that Kevin is going to be featured a little more in this video, and there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, he deserves it. He works so hard, and he's really knowledgeable, especially about certain species that he has a crazy amount of experience with. Diamondback terrapins are one of those things. He also is a little more sprightly than I am in this moment. Age is just a number, and although he is older than me, he is also better looking and more athletic, and I feel and look older than he does. So anyway, he's going to be out there doing his thing, and you'll see me behind the camera a little bit more today, but we're working a lot more as a team, kind of sharing the responsibilities and stepping outside of our normal roles a little bit. So I hope you enjoy that, and just bear with me. I'm working on getting my knees back to where they should be, getting back into playing shape, so to speak, but I can't do what I used to do as a young man. So today I'm going to be behind the camera a little bit. Hope you love it.
Nadine told me this spot was gonna be way tougher and way grosser, but what she doesn't know is that I had to share a room with Anthony last night, so this is pretty easy. It's way less smelly too, surprisingly. I am knee deep in the mud with Mike here. Mike is a trapping expert, and we are going for diamondback terrapins today. And Mike, why did you do this?
Well, like with most species in this world these days, especially turtles, these guys face a lot of threats, um, especially in these coastal areas where there's crab traps they can get into. Um, just development over the mangroves as well. So this is a spot that's protected, and we just do these surveys for about 4 months every summer.
Okay.
And we're just trying to get just pretty much all the population demographic stuff we can get. So we get an estimate. We can get sex ratios from this age ratio. And if we do this every year, then we can get kind of a idea of the health of the population.
That's awesome.
All right, so we are here in a mangrove swamp in Southwest Florida with one of my favorite people, Chris Lekowitz. And Chris, you're holding a Diamondback Terrapin, a specific subspecies of Diamondback Terrapin. I'd love for you to tell us about that, but also what this huge situation is on the carapace of the Terrapin. What's going on with that?
Holding here what at one time we called an Ornate Diamondback Terrapin, but because of a study that was done by FWC where they took genetic samples from all over the state, apparently our location here is in the Mangrove Terrapin zone now. So the line is moved a little bit north, but as you see, it's this turtle still has some characteristics of an Ornate Diamondback Terrapin, but in the near future we're going to have to start calling these Mangrove Terrapins. But essentially they're all terrapins, and if you look at the habitat that we have here, it's all mangrove. Most of the terrapin range, all the way from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, all the way down to southeast Florida, is mostly salt marsh. And then when you get near Fort Lauderdale area, it starts really transitioning into mangrove, and that mangrove goes into the Florida Keys and then goes up the west coast of Florida until you get to around Tampa, and then it starts becoming salt marsh again. And there are little individual areas of mangrove here and there up until you get in the Panhandle, and then it's all salt marsh again all the way to Texas. So a lot of the studies that have been done in areas where it's salt marsh, and so this is a completely different area in having to deal with trees and root systems that stick out of the ground. So what we have on here is a satellite transmitter. It's the same type that we put on sea turtles in order to monitor them when they go way off in the ocean, but this is a smaller version. So USGS has a project going on where they went to a lot of the researchers in Florida and asked if they could put some satellite transmitters on these guys to see how far they're actually moving. And we were able to get some of these. I actually did this in 2013, 14, and 15. I think we were the first organization to actually stick these things on Diamondback Terrapins. And the ones back then were not as good as this. They did work. The purpose of that was to find out where they nest. So we went and got a bunch of gravid females and we stuck the transmitters on because we had a real hard time finding nests. I know in a lot of the salt marsh areas, it's very predictable as to where they nest, but these guys nest in like shell mounds and oyster beds where it can be very hard to detect the nest unless like a predator got in the nest and you see eggs all over the place. So we really wanted to know where they nest because we've been working in this area for over 10 years now, and we noticed that when the nesting season starts, the females leave. They just take off, and we want to know where they go. So we actually found that out, and they're traveling a lot further than anyone even thought, like over 4 miles in some cases to go nest, and then they come right back. And you know, we had some issues with the transmitters back then. The antennas weren't as good, so we lost some, but we did get enough data to find out where they are nesting. Since then, the technology has gotten so much better. My friend Jordan, who works a little far south of me, he's been doing the same thing, and his terrapins are going even further than mine. So these guys can go very far distances in order to nest, and then they come right back to where they came from. So this is going to be an interesting project because, like I said, I haven't done this in over 10 years now. So I'm hoping that we get a lot better data than we did last time. Some of the problems that we had with the old ones was when it was heavy tree cover, like, you know, in these mangrove areas, you know, the points that we got were not very accurate. It's gotten a lot better since then. So technology has helped us.
So we're still here in the mangrove swamps, and this place is literally teeming with fiddler crabs. Now they look just like the ones we have in Connecticut. I don't know if they're different subspecies or not. However, this makes up a large portion of terrapins' diets in general. They will eat these, they'll eat periwinkle snails, mollusks. You'll see a lot of time in these wild populations that the females have these megacephalic heads, and it's a muscle, right? They're by chewing on these like hard shelled animals, these mollusks and these crabs, they're building that muscle set the same way as you know, going to the gym is going to build those muscles like Jordan Danini. So we just released that fiddler crab, and I was telling you about periwinkle snails. And what's really interesting is there is a species of periwinkle snail native to this area, the mangrove periwinkle snail. And as you see, they're climbing up this tree, up all the small branches, getting out of the water. And this is like a delicacy for the diamondback terrapin. They absolutely love it. And once again, these hard bodies right here is what allows for that big muscular megacephalic head. They're so cool and pretty tasty.
My favorite thing about being a biologist is that ever since I was a kid, and I can remember back when I was 5 or 6 years old, I was always interested in aquatic animals. Like my dad, he would always take me out to fish, which I love to fish with them, but I found myself, you know, seeing all the frogs on the side of the lake, or I'd see all the turtles sticking their heads up, and I would, you know, put down my fishing pole after a while and try to catch that stuff. And as I got older, you know, that just intensified. You know, I got my first reptile book when I was in grade school, the Peterson Field Guide to Reptiles and Amphibians of Eastern North America. I had the Audubon Field Guide to Reptiles and Amphibians. I had the Golden Book on reptiles and amphibians, and I would just study these things over and over. I would get very upset, I remember, because I would look at a range map and it would say hognose snakes are found around here, and I would go look all over the place. And I lived in the city in Chicago, and all we had were garter snakes out there, and I would get upset because this map says it's here and it wasn't here. So it just intensified, and of course I got all my friends into it, and they were into it for a while, but as we got older, they got into other things, and I stuck with this. And I, you know, at first I wanted to work in a zoo because that was going to be the best thing ever. But as I got older, I realized I wanted to be a biologist. And, you know, I started helping a lot of grad students on their projects while I was getting my bachelor's degree. And, you know, and about high school time is when I fell in love with map turtles, and I've been a map turtle guy ever since. But when I got my job, I kind of overshot where the map turtles were and ended up further south. So I'm working with things that are almost map turtles, or some people might say evolved map turtles.
As close as you can get without being map turtles.
As close
really.
as you can get. But yeah, I just always wanted to do this type of work, and right now I get to do it. So I'm having a great time.
I'm here with Mike, who is a very, very talented field biologist expert out here doing amazing work in the mangroves. but we have a turtle with us that doesn't belong in the mangroves. Why is that? Can you tell us about this turtle and why we have it here?
Sure. Yeah. So we're out here doing our terrapin work, but we do work with a lot of other freshwater and terrestrial turtles on the island, namely the Florida box turtle. So this guy was picked up or gal, I guess, was picked up this morning on our way to the site, actually, from one of our many volunteers on the island that looks for the turtles and every morning or evening when they tend to come out. And she gave us a little call, so we swung by and picked up and thought I could show you guys today.
That's awesome. So it's just the way the timing worked out. It doesn't make sense to like bring animals out here, but you were on the way here already, picked up the animal. You're not going to leave it in the car in Southwest Florida where it gets a little bit hot. I don't know if you could tell, a little bit of glistening going on right now. It's hot. I know it's not hot, but it's hot for me, especially being from Connecticut. So this is a Florida box turtle. It's a very popular species, and that is not always a good thing. And I know you can speak to that because you're an expert on Florida box turtles. You wrote your thesis on them.
Yeah, I did my master's at University of South Florida under Sean Duty on the population demographics and spatial ecology of these guys. And one of the main reasons we kind of started this project was we did have Florida box turtles involved with a major turtle poaching ring. That was about August 2019. And it was found that around 260, I can't remember the exact number. It was around 260 box turtles were found in this poaching ring, and one of them was actually marked from our project, so we know they were coming out there and snagging them. So we kind of went in this, we had been marking turtles since 2002, but we kind of went in this hyper mode and really revved up the project. And then we also started doing radio telemetry on a bunch of the turtles to kind of see their home range in the way they used habitat.
You've done amazing work, you and so many other wildlife champions down here. We've met some on the channel. Obviously, we've seen Chris Lekowitz many times, who you work with on the channel, talking about this and other species. Box turtles are so sought after, and all the work that you guys have done, should we be celebrating that you're stopping the poaching? Has the poaching ended?
No, I mean, I don't know if poaching will ever end.
Correct.
All you can really do is deter it. And how we do that is we put these little notches on them. It kind of devalues them because you now just have these notch marks on the turtles, so people don't want these imperfections. And we'll actually microchip them too. So if we do ever find one of these turtles in a poaching ring, God forbid, and we scan it, we can know for sure that it's from it's not just some other notching project in another area. And then we also take pictures. You know, the shells are like snowflakes, so every turtle's unique. And that's just a really good three-way identification system we can use to protect these guys.
I love it. So a message to everyone, box turtles are super popular. They're everywhere. And if you're thinking of selling one that looks like it was wild caught or is wild caught, or buying one that looks the same, don't. We need to put our best foot forward, and we need to end this trade in wild caught, and I would even argue wild caught looking animals. There are enough captive bred animals now. We can stop doing this. No animal, regardless of legality, needs to come out of the wild at this point when we're talking about American box turtles. We've had decades to set up the breeding groups. I'm totally in support for captive breeding. However, we need to be realistic about the situation and the fact that these turtles, the populations are declining because of poaching for the illegal wildlife trade. So don't be a part of the problem. Don't even be part of the gray area. Be better, because it matters. And we don't want these to be gone by the time my kids and your kids are old enough to maybe choose to do what us weirdos like to do.
Why would you ever want to hurt one of these guys?
Right? But you think you're helping, and that's the problem, right? With human problems, it's always multifaceted. You think you're helping, but I'm challenging you to just think critically, and not with your heart as much, and really with your head on this problem.
Totally agree.
This is our Florida mud turtle, or Echinosternenstein dockneri. Pretty hard word, bit of a mouthful. This guy is a super cryptic species, pretty hard to study. They spend a majority of their time during the year estivating, which is like a little reptile version of hibernation, where they're just buried under the ground and they're kind of motionless and just hang out until the environment is looking a little bit better for them. The other half of the year, they spend their time in ephemeral wetlands, so like smaller little pools or ditches, that kind of thing. They'll feed on mostly just like small carrion, bugs, any kind of detritus, kind of gross gunky stuff is what mud turtles like. We have noticed that at our sites there's not any overlap with the Florida mud turtles and the striped mud turtles in terms of their habitat, so we haven't gotten both species in the same trap. What else?
Is there a reason why they live in different environments?
We don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're so like incredibly understudied, and with that genetic study, I believe in 2013, that separated them as their own species from the eastern mud turtle instead of a subspecies, there's like even less now that you can go off of. But if you know their range and you look up stuff about the eastern mud, you can kind of guess about them. But so we're hoping with like these long-term studies doing mark recapture and trapping as well as radio telemetry, we can kind of fill in some of those research gaps. We currently have 3 Florida mud turtles with radio transmitters on them, and I believe the longest we've tracked one underground was like 9 months. So if it's dry, if it's not looking good around them, they will hunker down and not move, and they're pretty hard to find if you don't have a transmitter on them.
See, that's awesome.
Cool.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
I have one.
Yeah.
Is like phenotypically, is that typical, that size? Is it?
So this is small. So this is probably like, I mean, she might be sexually like mature, but this is definitely like little for a female. They can get like 4 to 6 inches probably, like somewhere around there. But this is a female. The tail's the easiest way to tell. So it's a super short, small stubby tail, and the males will have that large kind of wider tail just like the terrapins.
All right, so we are back in the water, and good news, we see terrapins. We're about to pop it open and see what we got. I already saw a small male. I'm really excited to see what else is in here. Come check us out. Wow, big girl.
Sweet. Chunky.
She's old too.
Yeah. Here.
She's old too.
Yeah. Here. You can put her in the bin whenever.
Hands on. Here.
You want to swing that bin over to him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it too far?
Diamondback terrapins are incredibly sexually dimorphic. Females being much larger than the males. But one thing you'll see here in the males is they have this really, really fat tail. And on females, which you'll see in a moment, and actually, here's an even smaller male. Now these are adult males, actually. This one I would say is adult. That one could be smaller, but still adult. It's just beautiful how little these guys are. And then when you see the females next to them, they're gargantuan in size comparatively. And we'll get a shot of that next to each other in a moment. Sexual dimorphism in terrapins is pretty wild. This is an adult female and an adult male, and you can see this large tail and this small, tiny little tail. And it's imperative for them to be larger because they need to hold those eggs, right? So they can produce more of their kind. Now, if you look at this guy, he does not look like the other ones. He's much, much darker. I look at him and I see this mustache, and it really reminds me of Pileata or Littoralis. The influence is there. But I was talking to Chris, and he had said that about 8% of the diamondback terrapins that they trap in here have this kind of patterning, this phenotype, which is just really, really amazing, the variability in these animals.
This is an absolute beautiful female who definitely has some age. Chris estimated maybe 30 years, maybe 25. Look at this turtle. Oh my gosh. As a turtle lover, this just makes it even easier to love them. Hi. Hi. It's okay. We're friends. We're friends. So I'm here right now with Daniel Parker, my friend from USARK, Florida, who is an absolute steward and advocate for wildlife and also captive keepers. One of those awesome people that's able to kind of bridge the gap between those two polar opposite sides, which is so rare and so important. So Daniel, you're here with us today, checking out some terrapins, and you've done a lot of work and advocacy around diamondback terrapins. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's correct. USARK Florida is supporting some of the terrapin research that's happening, along with other turtles and snakes. So we care a lot about our native wildlife, and we also did do a proposal on allowing captive breeding of terrapins in Florida. Unfortunately, that wasn't something that was accepted at the time by the Fish and Wildlife Commission here. But it is something that we're very concerned about, because these turtles' habitat, as you've seen not far from here even, it's under threat. And mangrove habitats like this, believe it or not, are still sometimes bulldozed and built on, legally or illegally. But once the habitat's gone, it's gone. So a lot of these turtles also drown in crab traps. So that's a big threat. And there still is a threat from poachers finding them and selling them. These animals still have quite a high value in the trade. So there are all kinds of threats to these turtles. So we want them to survive into the future and continue to be here on the planet Earth, whether they're in captivity with keepers or obviously preferably in the wild.
Nadine, we're about to let this animal go.
Yeah, we named her Diva. So this Diva is gonna be let go today. We're super excited, and we should probably get some data points on her in the next 2 days.
May I?
Yeah.
So Nadine, no offense to you, but Diva, you were the prettiest girl in Southwest Florida.
That's true.
Man, I'm happy to let you go, but I hate to see you go. Just getting some final shots of this absolutely gorgeous Mangrove Diamondback Terrapin, Malaclemys Terrapin rhizopherum, and they're named after the mangroves in which they live. And this is just such a beautiful female. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to be a part of this, allowing us to be a part of this. Just Turtles, we're really doing it.
This was an absolutely incredible experience. I always say any day you can make a really positive experience, lasting memory that is going to withstand the test of time. That's a great day. And today was truly a great day. Trip out here to the mangroves with some amazing people that do incredible work with species that are even more incredible than that. So main message here is there are people out here, boots on the ground, that are doing important work to really save, monitor species and help them from becoming more rare species and important species, keystone species within their habitats. And we need to do our part, right? These are species that are being impacted by human activity, and obviously that's us. And even if you're not someone who's actively taking part in that, we can still be a part of the answer. We can advocate, we can be the eyes and call out things that we're seeing that don't seem right. But also, again, challenge yourself. If you're someone who's working with animals that appear to be wild caught, it's a diamondback terrapin with a female with a large head, or it's a American box turtle species or a Mexican box turtle species with a really smooth shell, and the deal seems too good to be true, and the story seems maybe believable, but maybe not. Maybe it's just you wanting to believe the story. Please, I beg you to try to challenge those thoughts and be a better version of yourself. That's all I can ask you to do. I'm going to try to do the same myself. None of us are perfect, but we can all be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. This was awesome. Thanks for being here. I hope you liked it. Let us know what you thought in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe, share the video if you can, and we're going to keep coming out here sweating our butts off to try to show you a good time.
We're really doing it!
We're really doing it. We really are.
Hit subscribe, join the crew. Just Turtles, there's always something new.